This is going to be volume number 2 of my Rising Artist Ranking and Review series, but this time is a little different. We're going to take one song from one artist and a song from another artist and put them against each other in a versus showdown. How's it going, everyone? My name is Brad, and I started this channel because I had nobody left around me to talk to about music that rocks. Instead of a normal ranking style video, today I'm going to be taking two artists and putting a song that they each got to choose up against each other. And those songs are going to be Sailors by All at Once from Monterrey, Mexico. We are the sailors who don't leave the ship. We sail our minds off. And Someday by A Few Too Many, who are from Cambridge, United Kingdom. I met a guy from each of these bands on some Facebook forum somewhere, and they turned me on to their bands, and I have enjoyed everything I've heard so far. So this is going to be extremely tough for me. And I just want to point out before I get started, this is based on my opinion and preference at this moment today, and it could change tomorrow. I've also listened to each of these songs about 20 to 25 times over the last 4 or 5 days, so let's have fun with this. Be sure to watch all the way to the end because I've also got a special surprise category. Before I get started on this, I need everyone's participation. You gotta go vote in the comments for which song you like better and why. First category is gonna be intro and first verse section of the song. On Someday, they get right into the song with this thick, fat riff, and it's totally clear where we are headed right off the bat. And I'm really into the bounciness of the vocal delivery, even if I would maybe prefer a shorter intro on this song. Sailors kicks off with a lot of electronics, which I don't super love, and it doesn't really match what the song is going to turn into. But as the song continues, the electronics really just kind of become a background instrument. And I'll also say that this first verse, especially the way it starts, sounds almost exactly like it could come off of Blink-182's self-titled album. That's not a bad thing necessarily, but it's a little too reminiscent in the first verse. This point goes to Someday. Now, for category 2, we're heading into the chorus and the second verse, kind of the middle of the song. Someday's chorus is super melodic. Really, both of these are. But Someday is kind of basic and repetitive. Something I want to point out right here is these bands really aren't the same. One is a little punkier, one is a little poppier. And that makes this comparison even niftier. But Someday has a rousing chorus that you want to shout at the top of your lungs. Then the second verse is probably actually my favorite part of this whole song. It is hitting so hard. Sailors has this little stoppy, soft part pre-chorus, and they say, "Let's build our dreams." Then we get into this chorus and out of it before the 1 minute mark of the song even hits. I really like the pacing of Sailors, and it's so awesome, and the lyrics are very thoughtfully written. We are the sailors who don't leave the ship. We sail our minds off to our hopes and our dreams. Very positive message on here. I challenge you to listen to this more than just a couple of times and not scream, "Yeah!" with these guys. We sail our minds off from our hopes to our dreams. Then, just like Someday, the second verse crushes. But I found myself singing Sailors like non-stop all the time. Because of that, the chorus and second verse part goes to Sailors. Now onto the bridge for category number 3. Sailor's bridge is very creative, and it really leans into the electronics again. It's very cool, but different. Tonight will change our lives. Awesome. Then they've got this chanting in the background. I really like this bridge. Someday's bridge is super epic, and it's full of oohs and ahs. It really has no lyrics, but it's rocking so hard. Has multiple lead guitar parts going off in the background. But because of creativity on the bridge, point Sailors. And for our fourth category, I have the outro ending of the song. This is pretty easy. It's Someday, and it's Someday by a mile. They went for it on the end of this song, putting all their vocalists on display without any fear and with glorious harmony.
But we're not getting better. We're not getting better. So farewell forever. Lips that lie ain't worth my time. You're in the past, so stay behind.
Sailors kind of repeats the amazing chorus very similarly, except they slightly move the yeah, and it gets me every single time. Then they go back to the electronics. Point. Someday. Well, we are tied. Now we're going to break these down by instrument and production, and then we have a surprise category at the end. For my fifth category, I have just vocals in general. This is really tough. First, I actually wish that both of these bands would turn their vocals up a little bit louder. Someday is a really loud song, and the vocals sometimes are kind of getting buried a little bit, and it seems like on Sailors, it just could be a little bit more in the very, very front. On this one, I'm going to give the point to Someday because of the outro and the use of the multiple vocalists. Not a knock at All at Once in any way. This is probably the toughest category for me to decide out of all of these categories. Then we have guitars. This one has to go to Someday for this fat riff and the bridge with its relentless lead parts going off the entire time. Now on to drums and the rhythm section. Neither one of these songs are really like bass heavy, so I'm going to more focus on the drums on this. All at Once crushed this song. To be fair, a few too many are playing this song pretty straight rhythmically, except for a couple of really nice fills. This only applies to this one song. I'm not saying one drummer is better than the other, and that applies to all of these categories. But the drummer for All at Once is all over the place, and it's awesome on this song. An extremely fill-heavy song. Point Sailors. Also, the programmed drums, though I think they're a bit much in the intro and in the bridge, it adds a nice layer, but mainly because of this perfectly placed ride bell ding. And on to production. This one may be a surprise, but I'm actually going to go with Sailors here. And here's why. Hang with me, okay? It's the clarity of the sound. I can easily and clearly hear every single instrument in this mix. On Someday, I find myself having to search a little bit for all the different guitar layers. Someday is also mastered really loudly, which is very nice, but it seems kind of like the low and mid are getting muddled at certain points in the song. So like I said, production point barely to Sailors. Now, moving on to lyrics and message. This is really tough too. Check this out. We're not getting better, so farewell forever. Lips that lie aren't worth my time. You're in the past, so stay behind. Freaking great, okay? But for me, Someday wins the verses, Sailors wins the chorus, and the overall message. Where I am today at this exact moment in my life, at this exact moment, I'm going with the super upbeat positivity of Sailors. We are just a moment passing by, but tonight will change our lives. Great message on both these songs, but I'm going Sailors. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, my mystery category. I asked my brother-in-law and #1 fan of this channel, Sean, to just weigh in on what song he simply liked better. I didn't ask him for any other feedback. I just said, listen to these two songs 3 or 4 times and just text me back which one you like better. And he went with Someday. Let's tally this thing up, and if it's a tie, I'm going to be the one to break it. All right, well, it is a tie. This was not planned, and I did not want it to come down to me making a final decision. But for me, today, I like Sailors a tiny bit better. This was a fun time. But before I sign off, I just want to say, if you or someone you know is in a band or a solo project and you would like to be featured in my Rising Artist series, just message me on Instagram or Facebook, whatever. I was so honored that these guys reached out to me, and honestly, I'm elated that I got to hear these 2 awesome jams, and I'm so looking forward to hearing more of what they've done, but also what they're going to do in the future. Thank you so much And remember, whatever you do, don't be normal.